All right, so today I'd like to talk about required minimum distributions and qualified contribution distributions, qualified charity distributions. So the IRS mandates that at age 72, used to be 70 and a half, now it's 72, that you are required to take minimum distributions out of your IRA or other qualified plan, such as a 401k or 403b. The reason they enacted this, it actually is to start getting some tax. So required minimum distributions allow you to take money out and the government to get some tax money on that distribution instead of keeping it invested for a longer time and not having tax benefits for them. So one of the things that we look for as financial advisors, look for ways to help both charities such as Lord of Life get contributions, but also look at ways to make it tax-free for individuals under the RMD. One of the nice ways to do that is a qualified charitable distribution. That is a direct transfer of funds from your IRA directly to a qualified charity, such as Lord of Life. Why is a distinction so important that it's a qualified charitable distribution versus just a regular distribution? If you take your RMD as income instead of a qualified charitable distribution, your RMD will count as taxable income. This additional taxable income may push you into a higher tax bracket and may also reduce your eligibility for certain tax credits and deductions. If you make the contribution directly to Lord of Life or other charity that's just a 501c, which is very important, has to be a 501c3 charity, Lord of Life, going to keep saying that, it will be not counted as taxable income, and it will suffice your RMD. So if you are at least 72, you have to. 70 and a half is actually the code in the IRS regulations where it starts, because if you had an inherited IRA that you already started taking distributions on, once you reach 70 and a half on those, you also qualify for the qualified charitable distribution. A big point that I'm going to point out many times, this distribution has to be made directly from the brokerage firm, mutual fund company, directly to Lord of Life or what other charity. We can't send you a check and then you in turn send a check or write a check to Lord of Life. That will not qualify in the IRS code as non-taxable. So to make it tax-free and to qualify, it has to be sent directly to it. So what you would need, you would be talking to, in our situation here at the church, talk to Ann or Tyler, and we get the information to you with the bank account and routing number that your brokerage firm, mutual fund company would need to send that directly. And they can actually have a check issued, or depending on, a wire can be sent also to allowing it to go directly to them. Some of the requirements. You must be, as I said, 70 and a half, even though it's now 72, 70 and a half if you started with the inherited IRA before then. So that would be the number one requirement, because that's when actually the required minimum distributions will start. So you're not required to take it out before then. For it to count towards the current year's tax or current year RMD and to be tax qualified, it has to be done by December 31st in the year that you're taking that to qualify for the tax-free. And again, it has to be directly transferred from your IRA custodian to the qualified charity. The account types that are eligible for qualified charitable distributions are traditional IRAs, inherited IRAs, SEP and simple IRAs that are not active. So if you had a simple or SEP plan when you were working, or you left it as a simple IRA, you haven't transferred to a traditional IRA, if you're not active in that plan, that qualifies. If you are still actively working, even though you met the other requirements, that would not qualify because that's considered an active plan. The other thing that if you do choose to do that, you want to make sure that it's, like I said, a 501c3. Charities that are not eligible to receive this are donor advised funds, private foundations, or supporting organizations of those private organizations or private foundations. So I'm going to give you a couple examples. Forgive me my paperwork here. All right, we're going to do a scenario here. So Phil has an annual RMD this year of $15,000. That's what he's required to take out, according to the IRS guidelines. If he would like to make a $10,000 qualified charitable donation to Lord of Life, let's just use that, his result, Phil's remaining RMD of $5,000 will count towards his taxable income. That $10,000 that he sent there will not count towards taxable income. Scenario 2, Phil's annual RMD is still $15,000. If he makes a full $15,000 qualified charitable donation, he will have satisfied his RMD and he will have taxable income of $0 for that distribution. Scenario 3, which is a little different, at this time, Phil is also still going to make a full $15,000 qualified charitable distribution, but he is also going to make another $5,000 on top of what his RMD had to be. So he will not have taxable income for the whole $20,000. And the nice thing about that is if he takes out more than the RMD, depending on what the market did, it may lower his need for RMD or the amount for the next year. So it's a nice kind of way to do it, that by taking out a little bit more this year, he might not have taken as big of an RMD next year because he took out more right now. So the big points of this, the big points, you have to take out money. The IRS requires you to take out of your IRA. I'm just going to use the IRA. They require it. We don't all like paying taxes. I'm pretty sure I love paying taxes is 4 words I've never actually heard someone say to me. Okay, so here's a way to get around it. And also, if you're tithing, what a great opportunity to use this to maybe increase your tithing, to have it done, taken care of for you. You can have it sent in monthly installments from your brokerage firm. I have clients that we actually send it out monthly to their church. We have clients that send it out a couple times a year, and some that do it one time a year, and they're done with their tithing all year. And so it all gets taken care of. They do get a 1099. Here's the other important factors. You do get a 1099 for your distribution. It'll look like you just took a taxable distribution, but you keep your receipt. You will get a receipt, just like you get a list from Lord of Life every year of what your donations are. You keep that, and you give this to your tax advisor. So when they do your taxes, they will list it as non-taxable, and they will keep that with the taxes, so that if it was audited or anything like that, you have the receipt showing that you did a qualified charitable donation and that it is non-taxable. That's the big key. We have to take out money. This is a great way, especially if you're not using that and it's causing you a tax burden you don't really want. Here's an opportunity to give to a charity such as Lord of Life and not pay taxes, reduce that tax burden that you may have in the future. I hope this is clear to everyone. Again, this is the qualified charitable donation, working with RMDs, helping to avoid taxes. Thank you for your time.